For brothers Shoaib and Rasheed, darkness brings danger.
उसको ढूंढते भी रहते कि भाई ये कहाँ गया। शाम का टाइम जैसे हो जाता है हमें तो इसका गम हो जाता है कि ये ऐसे नहीं कि कहीं जाके फिर गिर जावे।
Every night they are imprisoned in their own bodies. They are frozen in a state of paralysis.
खुद परेशान है कि या इसको जिन लगा हुआ है या कोई और मरज़ है, हमको समझ नहीं आ रहा था।
A case so unique, doctors suspected these were bogus claims.
Maybe it is not a physical disease, but the family is pretending that they are sick.
Seemingly medical marvels, the boys have become headline news.
This is a story which we have been waiting for my whole life, you know.
Now, the search is on to diagnose this inexplicable illness.
This was a challenge for me to unveil this mystery.
A cure must be found to give hope to a desperate father.
इसका बीमारी का तो हमें बहुत डर है इसकी इसी तरह नहीं कि इसको भी ऐसे पकड़े और कमज़ोर करे और इसका भी हो जाए।
In a small village outside the provincial capital of Quetta live two brothers, Shoaib, 13, and Rasheed, who has just turned 12.
शोएब बिल्कुल आराम से है, वो बिल्कुल शरारत भी नहीं करता है और खेलता भी कम है। अब्दुल रशीद जो है ज़्यादा शरारती भी करता है और खेल में भी वो खेलता भी ज़्यादा है।
But these ordinary-looking boys have an extraordinary condition. As their friends carry on playing, the brothers have to head home to their parents and 4 siblings. As the sun goes down, Shoaib and Rasheed's strength and energy progressively deteriorates.
दिन का टाइम में तो बच्चे खेलते रहते हैं, लेकिन जैसे-जैसे शाम हो जाता है हालत कमज़ोर हो रही है। घर से बाहर निकलता है तो इसके हमें बहुत बड़ा परेशानी हो जाता है और कि उसको ढूंढते भी रहते हैं कि भाई ये कहाँ गया। शाम का टाइम जैसे हो जाता है हमें तो इसका गम हो जाता है कि ये ऐसे नहीं कि कहीं जाके फिर गिर जावे।
As the daylight fades, their muscles begin to seize up and their bodies start to stiffen. Eventually, they lose the ability to control their limbs. Shoaib no longer has the strength to hold himself up. Rasheed knows he will be next. The brothers are utterly helpless, unable to move. Barely able to speak, they are trapped in their bodies.
ज़रूर इसका परेशानी तो हम लोगों के ऊपर है। जब इसका हालत देखकर तो हमें बहुत परेशानी हो जाता है कि किस तरह अपना ज़िंदगी गुजारेंगे, क्या बनेगा और किस तरह इसका ज़िंदगी चलेगा।
The brothers will remain in this immobilized state throughout the night. Their inability to do anything for themselves means they need round-the-clock care. Come morning, Shoaib and Rasheed make a seemingly miraculous recovery and get up without difficulty. It's like the paralysis of the previous night never happened.
शुरू में तो हमने कहा कि शायद ये बचपन ही इसका ठीक हो जाएंगे, लेकिन जैसे जैसे इसका उम्र बढ़ता गया तो इसका इसी तरह हमें पता चला कि ये इसके अंदर जो एक बीमारी है.
Hashim tried everything he could to get help for his sons.
इसी अस्पताल में काफ़ी अरसे तक इसको ले जाते रहे और डॉक्टरों को मेरे ख्याल में समझ में नहीं आ रहा था.
He even turned to their religious teacher, local cleric Ahmed Tahir.
पहले हमने सुना भी नहीं है इस तरह का बीमारी, तो हमने कहा जो भी है अल्लाह की तरफ से आया है. खुद परेशान है कि या इसको जिन लगा हुआ है या कोई और मरज़ है, हमको समझ नहीं आ रहा था. हमने दम भी बहुत किया, जितना भी हमारा वो था हमने किया. काफ़ी आमिलों से भी हमने बात किया, जो वो कह रहा था कि भाई ये तो जिन नहीं है, अलबत्ते कोई और बीमारी है.
In 2016, the boy's mysterious condition came to the attention of journalist Irfan Hashmi of Danya TV.
One day we had a call right from this guy, and he said there's a story which you should work on, and there are children who can walk in sun and they don't walk in night time. So I says, what? It doesn't make any sense. And I says, I don't have time for all this, so you should call someone else, you know. And then after thinking for 5-10 minutes, you know, I realized that there is some potential in this story. Instead of we go straight away and being judgmental on that, why don't we just go and investigate?
When the news crew reported back, Irfan's preconceptions that the story might be a hoax were quashed.
When I sent my team there, and then he saw everything with his own eyes, and he came back with all the footages, then we realized that, yes, this is the time, and this is a story which we have been waiting for my whole life, you know.
The crew took Shoaib and Rasheed to the nearest major hospital, hoping for a diagnosis.
So the idea was to document the search of the cure for these children. And this way, we'll educate the world that what we are telling you is real and it's happening.
However, there was still no explanation for their mysterious condition.
जी, जो बच्चे मैंने चेक किए हैं उनकी जो हिस्ट्री है वो थोड़ी सी अनयूजुअल है. मतलब जनरली नॉर्मली ऐसा कोई केस अब तक मैंने नहीं देखा.
Irfan knew that the boys needed the attention of the wider medical community if they were to get any help. So he came up with a nickname to capture the public's imagination.
In Pakistan, solar panels are really famous. So solar panel and then solar children. So that's how we came up with this name, Solar Kids.
ये बच्चे रोशनी में तो चाको चौबंद रहते हैं, लेकिन अंधेरा होते ही हर.
When the report aired, the Solar Kids became a national phenomenon. One of the country's most eminent doctors, Professor Javeed Akram, was curious to know if this was more than an attention-grabbing headline.
This report was a very striking and a dramatic sort of a thing, and it became very popular in the medical world because nobody have heard of such things. I contacted the media house and I asked them, I would like to send the teams to the Balochistan to see what's happening. We looked at the environment, we took samples of air, soil, water, everything.
The medical team could find no answers, so Dr. Akram flew the family to Islamabad to run further investigations at the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences. Some in the medical profession had suggested the family had Munchausen syndrome, a psychological disorder where someone fakes or induces an illness.
They were even labeled at one stage that they are malingering and trying to extort some money out of people. I had a psychiatrist working with them, I had a psychologist working with them, and we didn't get anywhere. This was a challenge for me to unveil this mystery.
A year on, Dr. Akram wants to continue his inquiries. Shoaib and Rasheed will travel with Father Hashim and cousin Imdad, firstly to Lahore and then on to Islamabad. Younger brother Tariq doesn't want them to go. The next 10 days could be the boys' last chance to find a cure for their debilitating disease and finally live a normal life.
जी हम तो इंशाल्लाह ये उम्मीद रखते हैं कि इसका ये बेटों का जो है इंशाल्लाह इलाज हो जाएगा.
Brothers Shoaib and Rasheed are supposedly the only two people in the world to share a mysterious condition. As night falls, their muscles seize up, leaving them paralyzed. With their father Hashim, they are traveling across the country, hoping to disprove claims that they don't have a legitimate illness and ultimately get help finding a cure.
पुलिस है भाई जहाज पुलिस नहीं लगता है थोड़ा सा सर में चक्कर आता है कहता है.
It's only the second time they have ever left their village.
शोएब नहीं पुलिस जहाज
On the way to the airport, Hashim asks the driver to stop. Here lie the graves of his two younger sons who died in infancy.
एक अब्दुल लतीफ था नाम इसका 15-20 दिन तक वो भी रहा और उसके बाद जो है उसका भी इंतकाल हो गया वो. और दूसरा मोहम्मद इलियास 2 महीने तक बिल्कुल सही सलामत था और उसके बाद जो है फिर उसका भी इंतकाल हो गया फौत हो गया.
Abdul Latif would be 5 and Muhammad Ilyas 4 had they lived. Hashim fears Shoaib and Rasheed share the life-threatening illness.
इसका बीमारी का तो हमें बहुत डर है इसकी इसी तरह नहीं कि इसको भी ऐसे पकड़े और कमज़ोर करे और इसका भी हो जाए.
As they arrive at Lahore, dusk sets in.
मैंने कहा बस इसमें अभी सुस्ती आ रही है.
It's a race to get them to the hotel. By the time they get there, Shoaib and Rasheed are totally incapacitated. By now, all the boys can do to communicate is whisper. And all Hashim can do is pray for an end to the boys' suffering. Their nightly ordeal behind them, the boys are fully mobile again. They have been summoned for investigations at Jinnah Hospital by Professor Akram.
These solar boys, as we call them, the striking thing was that 2 boys had died of a similar disease, and the other striking thing is it was affecting males only. The females were unaffected. So obviously, my mind went to the genetic side.
The specialist genetics lab in Lahore is run by Professor Sheikh Riazuddin. He worked with Professor Akram on the case last year and shared his initial skepticism.
When we consulted the literature, we had never seen anything like that. And we even started that maybe it is not a physical disease, but the family is pretending that they are sick. So that was our starting point. बहरहाल आपका वो ब्लड लेते हैं अभी
जी हाँ ले लो
और फिर उसके बाद ये उसके एनालिसिस करेंगे ठीक है
बस ये इसका भी आदत हो गया है, ये नहीं डरेगा पहले तो डरता था ज़्यादा.
The blood samples will be used to extract DNA. If they find any mutations, this could prove the boys are suffering from a genetic disorder and counter claims from some in the medical profession that the family are faking the illness.
The mutation, by definition, is a change in the building component of DNA. In one human genome, there are over 3 billion building blocks, and a small change in one of those would cause the disease.
Last year, blood samples from healthy family members were taken in order to compare their DNA with Shoaib and Rasheed's.
We found 5 changes in the DNA. Now, out of those 5 mutations, we have eliminated 2 of them. And it may be that there is more than 1 mutation, maybe there is only 1. Hopefully, we'll be able to pin down the causative mutation.
But the results are inconclusive, so the family will be sent to Islamabad for the next stage of the medical inquiry.
और आप जब इस्लामाबाद जाते हो तो वहीं वो आपके रिजल्ट में वहाँ पहुँचवाते हैं.
ठीक है इंशाल्लाह.
Before they leave, the family visit Irfan Hashmi at Dunya TV News.
Assalamu alaikum. Hashim, क्या हाल है? खैर से हो? कैसे हो भाई?
The brothers only came to the attention of Professor Akram when Irfan made them headline news.
It was not a matter of ratings. We are talking about 2 real lives here. 2 solar children who wants to be normal like anyone else. Hashim, कैसे हो? ठीक हो? सफर कैसा रहा? बच्चों जहाज पे आए तो जहाज अच्छा लगा? नहीं? यार जहाज तो अच्छी चीज है.
Irfan is keen to demonstrate that the boys' plight is real and to use their story to highlight the need for better medical care in remote areas.
How it feels for being a father when their children cannot walk in front of you and you're helpless. You cannot do anything. You cannot even tell the world that why they don't have even a doctor there in their society, in that area. We have to bring such stories into a limelight. High five karo, aise karo, aise karo. I think the government and the people like us should be focusing more on this by bringing forth the stories like this on television screen. चलो वो रिपोर्ट्स आती है ना उस पे फिर आपसे बात भी करेंगे. We're going to talk about that.
Irfan will record a special news update with the family once the assessments in Islamabad are complete.
इन लोगों का बहुत अच्छा किरदार रहा है कि इन लोगों ने आकर केस आगे उठाया. अब तक वो जो है हमारे साथ जो है हेल्प कर रहा है, मदद कर रहा है. उन लोगों का जो है बहुत ताउन हमारे साथ हो रहा है.
The family set off on a 4-hour car journey. They arrive at nightfall, and Shoaib and Rasheed are totally paralyzed once again. Hashim keeps his usual nighttime vigil. 8 a.m., the family are returning to the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences to see Professor Akram.
Assalamu alaikum.
A year of detailed study has still not cracked the mystery of the Solar Boys.
It seems as if I have become part of the family. They're wonderful kids, wonderful family, very caring father. Unfortunately, they lost brothers for the very similar reason. What they describe is probably had a respiratory failure because all the muscles are controlled from the brain. We don't want them to be lost.
Now the professor has instructed a team of scientists and doctors to try and shed light on the case.
इनके दोबारा टेस्ट करेंगे ना और देखेंगे कि बीमारी का क्या हालात हैं.
जी.
Our objective is that they should have normal quality of life. They can marry, they can earn for themselves, their family, and of course they will be valuable citizens of Pakistan then.
The tests have been scheduled to start tomorrow, so the family have the afternoon free.
किधर आके फिर खुश हो जाता है ये तो फिर ये दिन हकीकत अहम होता है ये याद रहता है इसको हमें तो खुशी होता है कि यहाँ पे ये चक्कर लगा रहे हैं और खुश नज़र आ रहा है हमें तो खुशी होता है इसी बात पे.
But the medical assessments are never far from Hashim's mind.
डॉक्टर कह रहा है कि कल इंशाल्लाह आ जाएंगे इसका और भी टेस्ट ले लेंगे अल्लाह करे कि इंशाल्लाह डॉक्टरों को टेस्ट ले हुए हैं हमारा तो यही मकसद है कि इसका जो है इलाज हो जाए और जल्दी जो है हम लोग वापस जाए.
The next few days will be critical. Will Hashim's prayers be answered? And will his sons ever lead a normal life? Shoaib and Rasheed are the only two people in the world with a mystifying condition. As the sun sets, they fall into a paralyzed state, unable to move or talk. But each morning when they wake up, the terrifying symptoms have disappeared. They are 1,000 kilometers away from home, desperately in search of a cure.
तारीख की आदत है हम लोग तो कहते हैं कि बस जल्दी फारिग हो जाते हैं घर चले जाएं.
Today, Professor Akram's team will try and solve the boy's mysterious condition. Owing to their notoriety, the boys are familiar faces to the staff. Doctors hope this intensive series of tests will provide some answers.
टेस्ट शुरू हो गया अल्लाह करेगा इंशाल्लाह इसका मसला इंशाल्लाह हल हो जाएगा इंशाल्लाह और टेस्ट होने पे फिर थोड़ा सा परेशानी तो हो जाती है.
First, they give blood and urine samples. Ultrasound scans are used to examine their internal organs.
This is the right kidney, this is the left kidney.
An electrocardiogram is used to check the rhythm and electrical activity of their hearts. When it's his turn to be tested, Rasheed becomes anxious.
चलो बच्चे सीने दो ऊपर करो कुछ भी नहीं होता लेटो
हिच मफक ले चलो हिच मफक ले
इसे पूछो कुछ हुआ है इसको पूछो इससे कि इसको मजा आया मजा आया चलो तू है कुछ नहीं
आज लड़ तू लोग
यार एक टेस्ट है वो उससे पूछो कुछ हुआ है उसको
यार बताओ इसको यार
कुछ करना खराब
दोनों को डाल शाबाश सीधा रेडियो
सीधा 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 शाबाश हिच मफक असो
Next, it's a chest X-ray.
बंद कर जी नहीं खुद है
The final test of the day is a full CT scan. Any abnormalities to their brains could provide evidence that they have a genuine disorder. All the family can do now is wait.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह आज बिल्कुल सही गुजरा और बहुत सारे टेस्ट भी इसका हो गया तो इंशाल्लाह आज बहुत अच्छा गुजरा
But the days are still short, and as the sun goes down, the boys know what will happen. The next day, the family are back at the hospital, anxiously awaiting news.
ये ज़रूर ये तो परेशानी हमें हो रहा है कि किस तरह इसका रिजल्ट आएगा कैसे आएगा सही आएगा
Professor Akram has asked his most experienced radiologist, Dr. Sheller, to examine the scans.
देखिए हमने एक तो इनका अल्ट्रासाउंड भी यहाँ हुआ था हो गया ना दोनों का वो भी नॉर्मल था और अभी हमने इनके चेस्ट एक्सरे दोनों के देखे हमारे हिसाब से जो कुछ भी इसमें देखना होता है हड्डियाँ फेफड़े दिल सब कुछ ठीक आया हमारे हिसाब से दोनों बच्चों का इसी तरह से हमने इन दोनों के सीटी स्कैन किए थे ब्रेन के जो एक ख़ास टेस्ट होता है जिसमें कि आप दिमाग को एक ख़ास बेहतर तरीके से देखते हैं ताकि अंदर तक दिखाई दे जाए तो उसमें भी उनकी हर चीज़ ठीक है हमारे हिसाब से जितने टेस्ट इनके यहाँ पे हुए वो सारे ठीक हैं I have been a doctor for the past 35 years and in my medical career I have not heard about such a thing. When I look at these brain CT scans of both the children, there's nothing out of the ordinary. This is a perfectly normal brain. So their brain is completely normal, according to us.
Relieved to hear his son's organs are healthy, but still desperate for a cure, Hashim brings his sons to pray with him at the famous Faisal Mosque. Meanwhile, Professor Akram has been informed that the results appear to show the boys are in good health.
confirmed hai.
He asks his consultant neurologist, Dr. Rao Suhail, for a second opinion.
So we can't say for sure that what's going on in their mind. So we are doing our best, and we are lucky that we have Professor Javed Akram, who has keen interest in research.
We have never seen such a disease before. We are not aware that anybody else has seen such a disease. So it's very difficult to give a prognosis over here.
While the doctors are trying to look at every possible reason for the brothers' nightly paralysis, Hashim seeks comfort in his faith.
ज़रूर हम इसके लिए जो है दुआएं मांगते हैं इसके लिए हमें सुकून भी मिलता है इसके लिए कि अल्लाह पाक कादिर ज़ात है वो कुदरत वाली ज़ात है वो जो है इंशाल्लाह इसको अल्लाह पाक सेहत दे देंगे ये तो हमें तसल्ली अल्लाह की तरफ से मिल जाता है
Back at the hospital, the doctors have one final hypothesis to explore. It could be the boy's last chance.
We were unable to find any structural changes in the brain. It is a biochemical thing that on one side we have two systems in the brain. One is cholinergic system and other is dopaminergic system.
Low dopamine is responsible for the muscle seizures seen in sufferers of Parkinson's, and Dr. Akram believes the boys may be suffering a similar shortage during the night.
These patients, these kids, if it is dopaminergic deprivation, we have dopaminergic drugs that we can use.
The doctors decide to do a one-off experiment tomorrow evening. They will give the brothers L-Dopa, a drug which they hope will correct the chemical imbalance in their brains.
So I'm not quite optimistic, but I'm hopeful that after L-Dopa, which converts in dopamine in the brain cells, we're having normal life.
But the uniqueness of the boy's condition gives no guarantee that the drugs will work.
Apagya kabari rete nirang. Enu mokas karir kasi. Bas iska tay mar hai. Kaan khuda khalir nimi da samanda mare dik bala khalir nimi. Ja. Tu kashan. Na ori. What? Chia. Sina khachyo. Na illo.
If tomorrow's trial goes well, this living nightmare could become a thing of the past. Shoaib and Rasheed are the only two people in the world to suffer from a condition that leaves them paralyzed when the sun sets. As a final endeavor to find a cure, tonight the brothers will be given a drug it is hoped will counter the symptoms they describe. As evening approaches, their muscles start to weaken. Their father Hashim and cousin Imdad take them to the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, where the drug will be administered. Dr. Rao Suhail is the consultant neurologist overseeing the trial.
So अभी ये करो कि इन दोनों को ये आधी गोली दे दो, ठीक है? Now you can observe that his leg, right leg is quite stiff. You cannot bend this easily, and his foot is quite stiff. Now you can see the jaw are also quite stiff. He has difficulty in solving. Okay. So other boys also having the same problem. You cannot bend easily his legs, having problem with solving, and he has a stiff neck.
15 minutes ago, the brothers were given L-Dopa to stimulate the part of the brain that controls movement. It is used to combat stiffening of the muscles, a symptom associated with Parkinson's disease.
क्या हुआ, कुछ बेहतर हुआ?
अभी थोड़ा समय ख्याल में
अभी 10-15 मिनट के बाद करना, अभी छेड़ने की जरूरत है।
All anyone can do now is wait and hope. "40 minutes after taking the medicine, Rasheed's legs suddenly show some flexibility.
Now you see this, their tone is reduced. You see?
Wow. He's smiling.
Yes, he started smiling.
Yeah?
This is the first time he has turned his neck.
Wow.
Minutes later, Shoaib regains some movement too.
हाँ जी, क्या हाल है? मुंह खोलो। ये चलो भाई, तुम भी खोल के दिखाओ। और देखो, अभी देखो, शेर दा बच्चे।
45 minutes after being administered the drug, Shoaib and Rasheed are coming out of their paralyzed nocturnal state. It's the miracle Hashim has been praying for.
Now they have smile on their faces. They can move their jaws, and they can show you the teeth. चलो जी।
इसका हाथ पैर बिल्कुल सिकुड़ जाता है।
And now you have to take them to some fast food chain for the food.
अभी तो माशाल्लाह बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक है। बिल्कुल हाँ, अल्लाह करे कि हमेशा इस तरह रहे। हमारे में सुसड़ी हाँ दाख माशाल्लाह। macam ringkis tu macam sabar ke macam saya tumor ni
They don't match? They do. I love that.
Just 1 hour after being given the medicine, both boys are strong enough to walk out of the hospital.
हमको यकीन नहीं था कि इस दवाई से ठीक हो जाए। वो आज भी खुशी हो रहा है कि भाई ये अभी खुद चल रहा है। इस तरह बिल्कुल हमने नहीं देखा बिल्कुल इसको।
For the first time in their lives, the brothers have control over their own bodies during the night. And eating after sundown would have been unthinkable. By the time they arrive back at the hotel, the medicine has taken full effect, and they can walk in unaided. Hashim calls home to share the incredible news with the rest of the family. It's their last day in Islamabad. And Hashim and his sons are recording a news item with Irfan Hashmi of Danya News, the reporter who broke their story a year ago.
क्या हाल है? I believe the television industry is not all about breaking news. For me, we as a media manager have to develop a kind of a social responsibility. We have to bring such stories into a limelight. And I think that's what we did by bringing kids of Quetta into these corridors and telling their story to the rest of the world. आप तो पूरी दुनिया जानती है यार इन्हें। आवाज़ जिनका इंटरव्यू करेंगे हम। We need to give them a right exposure so it can attract a bigger audience, a bigger research team and bigger contribution towards the genetics like we did in the Solar Children story.
तो आज आप कैसा फील करते हो इनका इलाज हो रहा है इन बच्चों का?
जी हम लोग तो बिल्कुल खुश है बहुत जो उसको गोलियां दिया था तो उससे बहुत फ़र्क पड़ा था उसको रात को भी चलना शुरू किया था उससे।
But the combination of an early start to the day and the unusual late night has proven too much for Rasheed.
I haven't seen these children like smiling like this because before that for them it's all about pain. But now I think they're in a position where they can plan their life. Every human being in this world has every right to live a normal and healthy life. Hi, juice. I feel that in the society like Pakistan, we have done something really unique. It's a kind of a corporate social responsibility, which every news manager in this country, in this industry should be doing. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Before they make the long journey back home, the boys asked to stop off for one special goodbye.
This type of disease, possibly this is the first reported family. So now we are in a position to describe this new disease. It's a complex genetic phenomenon.
Professor Akram is satisfied that the brother's condition can now be safely managed with L-Dopa.
रात को भी जो नॉर्मल जिंदगी है वो गुजारी
ठीक है
और इनकी जान को भी कोई खतरा नहीं है बेफिक्र हो जाए
But the boys will still need ongoing care to manage their condition.
There is a distance involved here. So I'm looking for a physician nearby whom I can convince to keep an eye on them. अगर कोई मसला होगा मेरा नंबर है आपके पास आप फ़ोन करें मैसेज करें हम खुद आपको फ़ोन करेंगे
नहीं नंबर है आप फ़ोन करेंगे इंशाल्लाह
हाँ वो बताते रहें हमें कि क्या हालात हैं ठीक है
ठीक है अल्लाह
Now he has proven that this is a new disease, Professor Akram will carry on his work to uncover the cause of the condition and aims to present his results to the medical world.
We intend to write a whole book on this phenomenon. I have learned a lot from this disease. I am much wiser now before I knew this family. And that's life, medicine is lifelong learning. Inshallah, इनकी अब शादी की तैयारी करें क्यों भाई शादी करनी है कोई ज़हन में है कोई ज़हन में
ठीक है अल्लाह खैर करे
इंशाल्लाह ताला
For Hashim, it's the end of a 13-year journey.
हमें भी इतना खुशी हुआ कि हद से ज़्यादा इसका खुशी हुआ कि अल्लाह ने इसको जो सेहत दे दी
Shoaib and Rasheed are finally able to enjoy a normal childhood, free from pain and fear.
वो कहता है कि हम डॉक्टर बनेंगे क्योंकि वो खुद अपना हालत देखकर तो उसको इसके अंदर भी एहसास हुआ कि हम भी डॉक्टर हो जाए और लोगों की खिदमत करें एक तुल lo in fortuna lingat